Yo, Skitterick back for another Hallownest episode. Holy shit, I have a lot to talk about. I've just spent the last 2 days inside of a humongous fucking maze-like chasm. I think it was more like a chasm complex. There are so many different pathways, small corridors, like caves and shit. Like water filling up. It was horrifying. I saw men in the corner. I couldn't see them when I looked at them, like directly, but I can see them in the corner of my eyes. I could see them. Like I swear, God. It might be a very stressful time in my life to be in those like chasms. Did not expect to be there, but honestly, like as for like most adventures and like movies and shit, like I think I became a better person because of it. Now I'll talk about the chasms more detailed later on in the video, but first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone like around me in my life, my mom, my dad, and my siblings, my friends, everyone. Thank you for being around me, being nice to me. I really didn't, before the chasm, you know, me pre-chasm, I really wasn't that aware of how good I had it. Like, I have these amazing people around me, man, in my life, and I'm, you know, I truly only started to, I only now understand how lucky I am to be alive, really, in such a wonderful life, with these wonderful people. Like, before the pre-chasm, I was just kind of wandering through life, expecting everything, like, just was the way it's supposed to be, you know. I didn't really count my blessings, so to speak. I was just happy they were there and moved on. But now, like 2 days in a like I can't even believe that 2 days in a chasm. It feels like so much longer. It's like it feels like a lifetime. Holy shit! And I'm just so happy to be back. So happy to meet my friends again. Man, we just like we just sat on the couch, had a good time watching the last 5 minutes of the Lord of the Rings movie. They were watching without me, and I just kind of popped in back in the chasm, and they watched the last few episodes with that, like the last few minutes. No idea what was happening. I think it was the last movie. I have seen, like, I have read the book of The Hobbit when I was very young. I haven't seen the movies of it though. I think I watched the first movie. I'm pretty sure I have like some memory of live action Hobbit action. Could have been Lord of the Rings. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, man. The chasm. Well, actually, may know because my dear friend Melde was so kind to like record some videos for me while I was away in the chasm, and he mentioned that I was indeed in the chasm and I was having a struggling, like, hard time coming out of it. I'm like, yeah, no, like I was just talking about like quitting my job with my parents, you know, like wondering how I should go about that because I'm not really sure how to even like say that. I think I'm like we decided in the end, like we didn't really get to finish our conversation, but I decided in the end to, like, when I go to work tomorrow, I'll just ask some of my colleagues, like, yo, how do I contact our boss? And then I'll write him a message like, yo, like quick and concise, just saying, yo, thank you for the time here. I love my job, but I gotta go. Bye. Maybe like no, I was like, I think I watched I looked at some examples online, and there was like different stuff. People were saying, mostly like just keep it short and concise, and be like clear about what you want and what you're doing. You know, just say that I'm quitting. I'm happy for my time here, and I hope, like, yeah, like a word in a specific way, like, I wish to inform you that I'm resigning my resigning my job as a, and in this case it'd be like a bartender or whatever. I'm not even sure what the full, like, complete term of my my employment is. I don't actually know what I'm employed as. I just kind of do stuff. Oh shit, my mic. Whoops. Like, I'm a bartender usually, but that's because I mostly just work in the bar hours, I guess. Fuck. I like to come into work on the times where I can be a bartender. Otherwise, I would be just like a waiter. So I guess it's like, yo, I'd like to inform you that I'm resigning my I'm resigning from my position at, and then I'll say the workplace. I don't even need to say my job. And I'll say it's been happy to be here. I hope you do well. And yeah, and I'll just be that. I think there's stuff in my contract saying like, oh, I have to stay here for 3 months after quitting, because they just don't want someone to just quit and never come back. Like leave them without a worker, or if I had a shift tomorrow and just call them now and say, yo, I quit, I'd still be expected to show to that shift. No, that's fine enough, and I want to like keep having a bit of an stable income for the next 2 months as well. the third month, that's a bit more like problematic because that's like I'm moving. I'm out of here, bro. I'd be like 2 hours away from the establishment, so I can't come into work. I refuse to. But then again, I also don't have any shifts for that point. Like, if I say I quit, am I expected to like suddenly take like jobs, like gain some hours where I really don't want them, where I wouldn't have gotten them? I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. I think I'll just write my boss and he'll be like, "Yo, you can't quit. You've got a contract, bro." And I'll say, "Oh, sorry, I fucked up." Oh well. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you gotta work then." I'm like, "Nah, sorry." I don't know what he's gonna do. Sue me? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I wasn't taught that in the chasm. I was taught important life lessons like humility and confidence too. It was kind of a weird combo, you know. When I first got there, I was a anxious freak. I almost said, like, compared to the locals, right? The rats and like the beings. I was a freak. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know this like speak the language. I thought, but really, it's just an accent. But the rat folk, they were quite nice, and we ended up like finding a way to communicate. I was really nervous though. I really didn't think I had anything to offer. But they kept calling me like, "Oh, the Sun Man, come here, vanquish our enemies." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I was talking about my mom and dad about quitting my job at like a bowling alley. I'm not the Sun Man." And I think they called me the Sun Man, and originally I thought it was because, because I'm in the chasm, I'm deep underground. They think that I came from the sun or something. I was like, later I realized that they were probably like mentioning my shirt. I was like wearing just an orange shirt with a bee on it, like a bee, like yellow and black bee, a bumblebee, and it was like a bumblebee with like holding up like what's it called, like a heart. And it was just kind of cutesy. I thought it was like funny. It's like an ironic shirt I got from my mom. I love my mom's shirt. She gave me the best shirts ever. She just finds them and like, "Yo, you should wear this." And I'm like, "Hell fucking yeah, I will." Because they're awesome. It's like the drippiest shit I own. But I don't think they've seen a bee ever before. And so they just thought that it was a bee holding the sun. Like, you know, it was like a burning heart. So it makes kind of sense. If they know what the sun is, like vaguely, like, oh, it's a big burning object in the sky. Sure, I can be the Sun Man because of that. I'm also not sure if they could see color, mostly just because of like a lot of their architecture was really bland and gray, but there were like some gems that was like really weird streaks of color that seems almost like placed randomly, as if no thought had put into it at all. Like if you build a table out of like 2 different kinds of wood, and you can't tell the difference between these kinds of wood, then whatever, man. It just you don't mind it. But then someone else comes along, in this case, a Sun Man like me, and I can clearly tell that those are insanely different colored wood. I'm getting off track. Anyway, I also didn't have wood. I learned a lot of lessons during my time in the chasm. I guess I'll start from the beginning. When I fell down, my mom and dad were like screaming, "No, no!" Like a big ravine when she got like showing up underneath me. I kind of knew this was gonna happen. You know, I spoke to this old man at a bus from 4 weeks ago, and he was like, Watch out, the earth rises." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, just a dude sitting there from the bus. I think there's something about the earth rises or something, blah, blah, blah. I had my AirPods in. I was listening to music. I didn't really want to talk to him. I just got off work. I was really tired. I didn't want to deal with a bunch of old people. I say bunch of, I guess it was one old person. But yeah, so the earth expanded, like a big hole expanded beneath me, and I fell down into the chasm. Luckily, there's like basically like a rock slide, I guess, like an avalanche kind of, like a bunch of like earth, like sand, I guess, which kind of took the worst of my fall, I guess. It was like kind of smooth, not really, but it's better than like a cliff. It was soil, I should say. Like it was squishy ground, and that's why I like survived that fall. And then I fell down. It's completely dark. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was anxious. I was just terrified. I kept seeing like these figures on the corner of my eyes that still I don't know what are. I definitely saw them. It was just before I even took any of their like town folks' food or anything, which I'm pretty sure gave me food poisoning and may or may not have drugged me, the rat folk. But I was running around in there like screaming for help. I was kind of just trying to stay in the same place for a while, because you know, I got lost. I just, in a random chasm, I thought maybe my parents will call and like the police or something. Someone will come to help me, surely. I just wouldn't want to move. But I realized that more and more, oh, it's not soil, that's not what it's called. It's called mud. I just realized I was landing on mud. That's why I was like, yeah. It was mud because a lot of water was like dripping down there, and like I was just standing there for a bit, just in this mud, and the more I realized, like, I thought I was sinking into the mud, but that's not the truth. The mud was rising. Maybe that was like the man was saying, like the earth rises. I don't know. Probably not, considering the mangler, which comes later. But yeah, so I realized, oh, I can't stay here. The mud is definitely rising, and it started rising like a pretty alarming speed. It was like ankle deep when I first got there. No, that was only on the plateau. It was like all the way up to my chest, honestly. Yeah, now I remember, it was in like the deeper areas where I landed as well. It like moved up to a little plateau before, like, in order to stand and call for help and stuff. But when I tried to like get back, the mud was definitely like above my head level of height. It was dangerous. Like I could have definitely drowned there. Thank God I'm good at swimming. I don't know. And also, it was like it was watering down. Like, it was mud still, but it was definitely watered down mud. It wasn't like the thick. Like, it didn't really have the viscosity, I guess. Anyway, point is, I had to leave the initial point of landing. And while I was doing so, I saw like these like shadow men in the corner of my eye and stuff like that. I really thought they had something interesting going on. I don't know. I wasn't unsure if I was like to follow them or something, because sometimes I'd see them in corridors, and, like, interesting, the gaps on my eyes, like on reflections. But they seemed pretty random where they were. Right? I was running around, just kind of wandering aimlessly. I had a really horrible sense of direction, so I was just moving like completely forwards all the time. I didn't even take any like turns or anything, just moving forward. I should say there were like a lot of pathways. Like, I landed in a big open area of mud, but there were multiple pathways to go. And initially I went to the leftmost passage, and then I just went forward every time. There's some like, I guess, like, what do you call it? Indents? Like a bunch of like other corridors coming from the corridor I was going down. But I didn't take any of those. I never actually got to know I was down there. The mud like rose up and it covered all that. But luckily, I guess, I managed to like walk forwards enough. It was also upwards, so that's why I chose that path, like way upwards. And also, like, the water was coming from there. So I went to the side of the corridor where the water was coming from, hoping that, I don't know what I was hoping for, that it would like somehow show me another area. Like, where would the water come from? Surely it like drain, and also I want to get away from the water. I don't know, in my mind I thought it was the best option to go with the water. Also upstream, so I wouldn't get drowned immediately. Anyway, I went upstream, and that's when I met Toby. I called him Toby. He never gave me a name. He kind of looked vaguely like a friend of mine who I called Toby, so I called him Toby. Kind of, I don't know, actually. Maybe that's kind of mean, actually. But I called him Toby. He didn't seem to mind. I don't think they had a name. And he was like making weird noises at me, which I didn't really know what it meant. Still don't really understand what he was saying in the beginning. Like, pretty clear they had language, and I could communicate them, like, in the end, but I don't know, man. Anyway, point is, running around, Toby led me to a safe location, a bunch of group of different rat folk, and here I learned my first lesson, that I needed some confidence, because really, they were calling me like the sun man and all that. I was really confused what they meant. But I needed some confidence, I guess. They wanted me to defeat their, specifically, they spoke in short, concise phrases, and then they just continued those phrases over and over again. Like, they would say, Sunman, vanquish our enemies! Like, our enemies. Vanquish our enemies! And I would, like, what? And then, like, point and gesture in a direction. So, like, I guess I'd go there and vanquish their enemies. And they wouldn't really explain much outside of that. At times, especially Toby, I could prod out some more specific sentencing and explanations. Like, I asked, like, how am I going to defeat any enemies? And he kind of looked around. He just looked kind of weird. And he told me, like, look, find the snake venom. And I was thinking, that was kind of weird. It wasn't at all snake venom. I don't know where he got that from. It was just a big stick with a rock on it. I guess like a hammer. So yeah, they call it snake venom. Don't know why. And yeah, and that, you know, I didn't think I could wank their enemies, but they really sure thought I could. And I went over there and would have thought it was just a mice, like a small mouse. I say mice like it's plural, but just a mouse. And I like bludgeoned it to death with my spider venom, which is, you know, just I hesitate to call it a hammer. It was more of like a staff, like it almost looked like a wizard staff, but it really wasn't. It was just a stick with a rock, almost like grown out of the wood in a way. Like, it didn't look like it was like they didn't use a rope to bind, like just a big boulder, like not a boulder, like a head-sized rock on the side of my head, pretty round, and it was just stuck onto the stick. No ropes, no glue or like tape or anything I could see. They were just in there, like, I guess. Like, it looked like it's so smooth. I guess maybe they could have melted it on there. What don't melt? I don't know, man. Point is, I bludgeoned the mouse to death, and they went up like, "Yo, congratulations! You did it! You did it! You vanquished our enemies specifically." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I sure did." You know, that taught me some confidence. Pretty honest. Honestly, I was surprised, but I was happy. They also gave me some food. At this point in time, things got a little hazy. I definitely think, in hindsight, the food definitely wasn't healthy. It was like a weird stew. It was just a brown stew with weird chunks in it. I couldn't tell if they were vegetables or meat. I was just very hungry. Like, I guess I haven't really explained how long I've been in there for that time. But I spent a lot of time crying out for help in the mud cave and the initial like landing area. And then I walked for a while as well down the corridor to find Toby. And yeah, so I was pretty hungry at the time. I also hadn't eaten anything that day. It's like I was at my mom's house, and I just didn't really find anything appetizing in the fridge or anything like that. So I was pretty hungry. They offered me food. I took the food as a sign of like, good faith. They wanted to reward me for bludgeoning the mouse to death. And I thought, fuck it, if they want to give me food, I'm not gonna fucking stop them. And I took it and I ate it. And from that point on, things got pretty blurry. I still saw the Shadow Men, and they like, I asked them about the Shadow Men, and they, I don't know, they really didn't answer me. They kind of ignored the question and kept saying like vanquish your enemies, or afterwards they were like, you vanquished the enemies. And at some point, just kind of stopped asking. Like I wasn't about to bring it up. I don't want them to think that was insane. Especially after the other stuff I saw after eating the food. The cave became much brighter after that point, despite there not really being any visible sources of light other than their mushrooms, which were glowing. Glow shrooms, I guess. I really don't have a name for them. I'm not really a scholar type guy, like of nature, so I don't know much about the like mushrooms or rat folk to begin with. Point is, it was kind of nice. There was like a whole culture down there. They showed me to the city, blah blah blah. I was pretty confident after killing that mouse. Everyone loved me, and I got really happy. And they then showed me to their king, who that was kind of awkward actually, because that was really getting confident from that point. I was getting up in a high horse, kind of arrogant perhaps. After killing one mouse, I realized that probably wasn't good. I think mostly it was the stew talking, like whatever I ate, you know, I keep thinking about that. I really don't know what I ate at all. But I kept eating it. It tasted vile at first, but I was really hungry, so I kept eating. And it became really addicting. I kind of want some now. And yeah. I went into their society. The king showed me a map they'd made, like tunnel. And once again, I'm not really good with navigation or maps at all, so I just kind of nodded along as he showed me different stuff. And he was like, vanquish my enemies, vanquish my enemies. Like, yeah, dude. Over here? And like, the northern or eastern, no, they didn't say northeast. They said, like, weird names, like, the avalanche stands, blah, 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 blah. And look here, the Morngerals, or stuff like that. I think they're, like, city names, like the names of the different caverns or roads. I didn't follow. I just kind of nodded along, pretending I knew what he was talking about. I didn't. Anyway, yeah, he said we need to vanquish another enemy, and I assumed this to be another mouse. And he offered me his daughter's hand in marriage, which I thought was pretty weird. I didn't expect. I guess I could have. At this point, I didn't know they were in like medieval society, despite them having, you know, light and like TV and shit. Because I haven't mentioned that yet. They did have light and TV. Only in the beginning they were like close rooms. But yeah, they have like electricity and like TV. But they still have like a monarchy. I guess that's what I'm thinking about. They had a monarchy and used like weird sticks with stones on them and couldn't defeat mice. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. And then went on to defeat the mouse they wanted to, and I got the daughter's hand in marriage. But I didn't want the daughter's hand in marriage. I kind of wasn't into the like rat folk. They didn't look very appealing to me, especially not the girl. She was kind of fat as well and kind of had a weird face deformation. And also, I couldn't really understand her. Perhaps she was pretty beautiful by rat folk standards, but I sure didn't know that. So I kind of said, nah, man, I don't want to fuck that bitch. And I guess he got really insulted by that for some reason. I called her like a sluggish whale vegetable I would never want to see again. I thought she was like a waste of space, hideous creature of the night. And he got really mad at that, I guess. I don't know why. She threw a fit and started crying. The father, you know, the king, sentenced me to prison, Radfolk prison. That sucked. That really sucked. And all because I said that his daughter was a hideous, like, freak of nature that I would never want to gaze my eyes upon again. It was like honestly disgusting. I thought I was gonna puke. As soon as she like offered the hand in marriage, I almost already there. I felt like kind of got bad vibes. But when I like defeated the mouse and actually saw her, yikes, man, that was awful. This was in rat folk prison. That sucked. Really sucked. Not a good place to be. Essentially, what it was just like a bunch of small caves. No, not really. It's like, imagine a big cave, big flat cave with a bunch of pillars in it, like stalactites and stalagmites, like kind of merging and becoming pillars. And then they put iron bars and like nets basically to make cages every now and again. Now, below this flat cage, there's just clearly another cavern. There's like big gaps in the floor and holes and shit that just lead into an absolute, that's just a freakish abyss, like a black abyss. I don't know why they would put the prisoners there. I guess you don't really put anything there because it's awful, and you want to scare your prisoners. It was horrifying. Not a lot of light. They had like light bulbs by the prison. They're like the guard man. I really know his name. They call him guard man. I kind of like came up with random stories about him while I was in there. But yeah, no, that was horrible. That was horrible. I got really frightened by that. In the end, I guess it's only like 1 or 2 hours, but it felt like years, especially after I ate that shit. I think time kind of like progressed differently with the food. And I was just like, I was terrified in those caves. I was scared of falling into the abyss, and like other rat folk around me kind of asked me questions like, "Are you the Sun Man?" And like, "Yeah, I guess I am. I'm the Sun Man." I was kind of still prideful and stuff like that. And they asked me to vanquish an enemy, like vanquish one of their enemies, which were apparently in the prison. A mouse was like scuttling around at night, and I woke up in the middle of the night, tried to kill the mouse. This time, however, I did not have their wondrous like staff, you know, their hammer. So it's actually a lot harder to defeat that mouse. Like, it was running around, doing tricks. I couldn't catch it. At some point, it scratched my eye, and now it's like yellow. And I could not defeat it. A really humbling experience. Like, I fucked up. All these like rats looking up to me and thinking, "Oh, you're gonna do it." And I was really perfect, like talking myself up and how I bludgeoned the last 2 rats. Like, sorry, the mouse. I shouldn't say rats. That's insensitive. So they were really disappointing, and I got like treated as like a liar, like a false prophet. Like, they were talking about stolen valor. I was like, what? No, I really did bludgeon those previous mouse. I just don't have the hammer anymore. And I don't really think they cared. I wasted my chance, and they just liked it. So yeah, that sucked. Really sucked. I kind of learned that, yeah, you know, maybe I'm not as powerful as I thought. You know, I couldn't kill anyone, really. I was just a man who was lucky enough to stumble into Tobias, who I guess happened to have a weapon. Without a weapon, I was nothing, and I couldn't even kill a mouse. You know, it like, taught me some humility. And then I got up from the cave, and everything was like fine. I got out. I just got up. I'm tired of talking about this. That's the end of that story. That was my chasm run. It was kind of overall pretty epic experience. My first time being on drugs. Literally fed me. Definitely made me see the world in a different light. And now I struggle to like even care about anything that isn't related to the rat folk. Like I really want to get back there. Oh wow, I'm dying to Trellector. I am unironically dying here. Oh, clutch. Saved. Okay. Not clutch yet. Dangerous? Oh, I got the heal off. Huge. Oh, I didn't. Okay, that was fucked up. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I reckon that. Yeah, no, that's fucked up. That was bad. Shit. You know what? I'm just gonna do another run. It's been a while. That old chasm rant was kinda... Or should I? Kinda getting late. If I wanted to upload now, if I got an over an hour run, like, a good run for me is an hour long. Then it would be the next day. Shit, I can't get the recording out on time. I guess not do another run. Damn. I lost a collector, huh? And I kinda lost hard. Oh, this is a huge fuck up too. I didn't even play that well at all. It's like doing a random weird healing. You don't do that. You kill the bugs. You deal with collector. You heal when you have absolute, like, a perfect chance. You don't rush your healing in that fight. Yeah, no, I just played kind of badly there, huh? Once again, I'm humbled once more. You know, I've been on the high road, been a bit confident in my Hollow Knight lately, which is good. Confidence is good, but arrogance, not so much. And now I've How about that? Maybe I still have more like room to grow, despite my chasm adventure. Anyway, see ya. I'm gonna like do a transition here, like, oh, it's black.